Super Mario Bros. Wonder, the first Mario game where you get to play as Mario characters having very, very intense fever dreams. Hello everyone, my name's Hayden, and today we're going to be doing a review for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So just a really quick disclaimer, if you don't want any spoilers for this game, I'd recommend clicking off and maybe going to watch some of our other videos, but this review will contain spoilers, so if you don't want to watch that, don't stick around. But if you do not care about spoilers, stick around and let's get into the review. So how long did it take to beat? Well, my Switch said a few days ago that it took 25 hours or more, but recently it changed over to 30 hours or more. So I'm guessing it was closer to 30 hours. I don't know exactly how long I spent on it, but it was closer to the 30-hour mark. Um, and that was getting all of the levels 100%ed and getting all of the collectibles. So it's a pretty long game for a Mario game. So there are 12 characters you can choose from in this game. So you have Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Yellow Toad, Blue Toad, Toadette, 4 Yoshis. You have green, red, yellow, and light blue Yoshis, and Nabbit. Also, the last 5 that I mentioned, so the green, red, yellow, and light blue Yoshis, as well as Nabbit, are invincible to taking damage from enemies, but if they fall down a pit, they will die. So you can play as them if you don't want a really hard challenge, but you won't be able to play the entire game as them because some of the levels do require power-ups to beat, and they can't use power-ups. So that's the one drawback in using them. So there's 153 things in this game that can be interacted with, which include like the levels, Poplin houses, which are basically just Toad houses, just rebranded because this game is based in the Flower Kingdom instead, and they're basically just they look like toads just with flowers on their heads instead of mushrooms. And Poplin stores, which I'll get into those later. But first, let's talk about the levels. So all of the levels or most of them at least, have wonder flowers in them. And wonder flowers can do really weird things that make the Mario characters seem like they're having fever dreams. So they can turn Mario characters into spiky balls that run around and destroy things, blobs of goo that can go across walls and ceilings, and my personal favorite, I'm actually going to show you. Yep, they cause piranha plants to start singing. Really weird. But when you activate a wonder flower, like I showed you in the piranha plant thing, a wonder seed shows up, which you have to collect to end the wonder flower effect. And there's a bunch of those in every level. There's usually 2 in the main levels, and then the ones that are like just extra challenges that you don't have to do. There's usually 1, and you get one of them from doing the um, Wonder Flower challenge, and one of them from getting to the end of the level, going down the flagpole, and then one of the Poplins gives it to you. But sometimes there's 3 of them from secret exits in some of the levels. I don't know how many there are in the entire game, but I know there's a few, and they don't show up on the thing that tells you like the collectibles you've gotten. So sometimes if a level doesn't have like a green check mark, which tells you that um, you 100%ed that level, then there's most likely a secret exit if you have literally everything, but it still shows you're missing stuff. I personally experienced that a few times before I found out about the secret levels or secret exits. But yeah, that can happen. And there are also, like I said, bonus levels. Some of them are badge challenges, which I'll get into the badges right after this. Some of them are just challenges, like finding a bunch of coins around a level that are hidden in some way, shape, or form. Um, uh, they're called KO arenas, I believe, and you just have to go through a marathon of just fighting things. You have to clear all the enemies out, and once you do, a thing at the end of the area will open up so you can go through a pipe to get to the next area. It's timed, and if you beat it in a specific amount of time, you'll get the Flower 10 coins, which are another collectible that I'll talk about later. And yeah, those are just some of them. And then there's the Poplin stores. So those are basically in the name stores. You can buy badges in them. You can buy standees, which are another collectible that I'll get into later. Um, you can get one-up mushrooms. I think that's all of them. I might be missing something, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's all I have for the levels. So now I'm going to go into the badges. So there are 24 badges in total, and what the badges do is basically alter the game to give you benefits, kind of. So there's three categories of them. There's action badges, there's boost badges, and there's expert badges. So the action badges basically change what your character can do. So one of them allows your character to turn like their hat or something into a parachute. One of them gives like the floating high, it's called the floating high jump, which is kind of like the thing Yoshi does. Um, there's one where that allows you to jump on a wall and then go up farther and then get kicked off of it. And there's like a dolphin one. It's called Dolphin Kick, which makes you go faster. Those are just some of them. And then the boost badges just basically give you boosts. So one of them is called the coin reward. What it does is earns coins for defeating enemies. So every time you defeat an enemy, you get a coin. Safety bounce back bounce back out of pits, lava, or poison swamps just once per fall. Coin magnet basically just pulls all coins and flower coins in, so you don't actually have to hit them. And then there's four that you don't actually unlock till you completely beat the game. They just make it, I guess, easier, kind of. They just make it so all of the things, like all the power-ups you get, are just one of them, so you don't have to guess which one you're going to get and hope you get the right one. And then there's expert badges, which are ones that just make the game so much harder. There's the spring feet one, which makes it so you can't stop bouncing. Invisibility, pretty self-explanatory. Jet run makes it so you cannot stop moving. And then one of them is the last one. It's the hardest one to get. It took me like 6 hours to get. And I'm not going to tell you because it's better if you get it, but it is definitely not worth the trouble of getting it because it doesn't do anything special at all. But that's basically it for the badges. So now let's talk about the collectibles. So there's three kinds of collectibles in each level, and then there's one kind that's outside of it. So we'll do the level ones first. So the first one is the flagpoles. So you basically just have to get the top of the flagpole. Um, and also, I didn't realize this till the final level of the game. And all you have to do to make sure you get it, like there's an invisible wall on the other side of it. I didn't realize there was. So you don't have to make sure you line it up. It'll line it up for you. That made me restart the level a few times. But Next ones are the Wonder Flowers. I already talked about these. They just make your Mario character, the characters go into fever dreams. And the Wonder Seeds are what show up after you activate the Wonder Flower, and they end the Wonder Effect. And then the Royal Seeds. So these ones I haven't talked about yet, but they're basically a amped up version of the Wonder Seeds, and you get these at the end of every world. Um, and I should also mention there are 7 worlds. Forgot to mention that earlier, but there's 7 worlds. So there's 7 um Wonder Seed or Royal Seeds, 7 Royal Seeds, and they just basically allow you to fight Bowser, because in this game you can't skip anything. You have to get everything to beat Bowser. And then the next one is the Flower 10 coins, or Purple 10 coins. I don't really know the name of it, but they're flower coins that are worth 10 flower coins. And there's 3 of them in in most of the levels. Some of the levels don't have any. Some of them do. Some of them don't even have flagpoles. Um, but they're usually hidden some places. Sometimes they're hidden down pipes. Sometimes they're hidden down pits. It's really hard to figure out with the pits because you sometimes just end up dying. Um, and then the last one, and probably the worst one, are the standees. So what they do is when you're in multiplayer mode, people turn into ghosts when they fall down a pit or get hit too many times. Um, and either they can run to one of their teammates or one of the other players to get revived, or they can run to a standee that another person has placed, and then it will revive them. So they're basically just standees of the characters. There's like all of them have different like poses and stuff you can choose from. Like Mario has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 12. He has 12. There's jumping Mario, swimming Mario, posing Mario, which is him punching the air, and crouching Mario. And there's Fire Mario, Elephant Mario, Bubble Mario, Drill Mario. And then they have the Wonder Effects, which is Balloon Mario, Hoppy Cat Mario, Goomba Mario, and Spike Ball Mario. So most of them have this, pretty much all of them have the same things, except for the Yoshis and Nabbit, because they can't actually use the power-ups. But other than that, so the first 4, which are the regular ones, and then the last 4, which are like the gold ones, which are the Wonder Flower effects, are all the same, but the middle ones are different for the Yoshis and Nabbit. And that's all for the collectibles. So let's get into the power-ups. So I did mention some of these in the collectibles section. And there's elephants. So they basically turn your character into an elephant, and this can work for, like I said earlier, everyone except the Yoshis and Nabbit. Um, and it basically allows you to attack with your trunk to break blocks, hit enemies, stuff like that. Um, then there's fire characters, which you most likely already know. They just throw balls of fire. Um, then there's bubbles, the bubble power up, which basically just allows your character to spawn bubbles that can be jumped off of, um, that can absorb like projectiles, can even absorb enemies and kill them. Um, and it's also used for a speedrunning strategy because people just jump on them over and over and over again to get to the end of some of the challenging levels. Um, and then there's the drill power up, which is basically what it sounds like. It allows your character to drill into the ground or the ceiling. You can really do it in any flat surface. But as soon as it goes vertical, you get kicked out of it when you go past it, but you can do it on the ceiling too, so that's pretty cool. Sometimes it actually allows you to skip parts of levels. Um, and this power up, I've seen it before. This is the only level I'm entirely sure about, but I know there's probably more. Um, the drill power up is actually required in one of the levels to beat it entirely. So that's why I said, like with the characters earlier, you can't beat the entire game using a Yoshi or Nabbit because you need to use the power-ups for some of them. But that's going to be it for the power-ups and pretty much the entire review, but there's one more important thing that I really want to talk about. Okay, so this was something that I have no clue how it happened, and most of you are probably going to agree with me when I say this, but how in the flying did Super Mario Bros. Wonder get nominated for Game of the Year? Like, it's being put up against Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the Resident Evil 4 remake, and Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Like, there's no way this thing is winning. And there are so many better options for Game of the Year. Maybe Hogwarts Legacy, or maybe even Jedi Survivor. Wasn't the best game, but still, it could have been nominated more than Mario Wonder. There are so many games that should have been nominated over this one. It's just ridiculous that they ended up putting this for Game of the Year. So now for the verdict. So this game was challenging at some points, and it was also really fun. And the Wonder Flower was a really cool mechanic that they added, but the replayability wasn't a lot. So like really after you beat the game entirely, there isn't much left to do. Like people have done runs like fully invisible runs or just runs with those expert badges I told you about because they're basically just there to make it more challenging for people. So there's some replayability, but not a ton. Um, and the reward for completion was one of the worst rewards I have ever gotten in any game. And I spent over 6 hours getting it, and it was so bad. It was just horrible. And it was pretty fast to beat like all the regular levels. Like you don't need to do a ton of them. Like there's not a lot of levels that are actually required to beat it. It's only the amount of wonder seeds that you need to get from one area to another. Because all you need to do is just beat the levels on the way to like the castle or the ending area of whatever it is, because it does change. But really, there's not much requirement other than having to get all the royal seeds. So this game could probably be beaten really easily, making it not really fun. Overall, 10 out of 10. Good game, but not the best. Some downsides, some good sides. But our rating is going to be an 8 out of 10 for this one. But that's going to be it for this video. So if you guys liked what you saw, click subscribe, the like button, and maybe share with some friends. But go check out some of our other videos we have up now. I will tell you that I am going to, immediately after I post this, I'm going to start working on a review for Wish, because I just finished watching that yesterday at the time of recording this. And I'm also going to be working on a review for Super Mario RPG once I finish that, and a review for Frontiers of Pandora once I get to finish that. So stick around and watch those. But other than that, hope you guys have a good day, and we'll see you in the next one.